are answered. Thank you for attending tonight's presentation. We're thrilled to have you, and we hope that you will love the idea of the Fitness Heptathlon and help us get it up and running. Tonight's agenda, we'll be starting with the welcome, the facts about the Fitness Heptathlon. The exercises will be on the website. We'll talk about competition and scoring, about your responsibilities as coaches or unified partners. We'll go over the training guides, the timelines, and of course, the awards presentations. And finally, we'll open up with the question and answers at the end. All right, so here's a couple facts. But the first thing we want to start is to talk about why it's important for athletes to participate in the Fitness Heptathlon. This is a wonderful new, what we'd like to call a sport. And what it does is it allows for the athletes to participate at home as well in person. And as Matt has told you several times in many of our meetings, 6.5 million people in the United States and an estimated 200 million people worldwide have an intellectual disability. Through sports, health, and fitness, we can change the statistics for people with ID and become a stronger, healthier, and more unified community. And that's what we want to do. We want to help our athletes become stronger and healthier. So remember, people with intellectual disabilities are 2 times more likely to be obese, 5 times more likely to have diabetes, 2 to 4 times as likely to be less physically active, 2 times as likely to have cardiovascular disease and asthma, and their life expectancy is reduced by an average of 16 years. So part of our Commit to Fit program and the Fitness Heptathlon is health education and the understanding of it. One of the things we would like to do with the Fitness Heptathlon is we will be educating the coaches, the athletes, the partners on why health, weight, and blood pressure are so important and how to collect them at home. Okay, so this lifestyle survey that we will be providing will have more specific resources for coaches and participants on health education, how to collect their health, their height, their weight, their blood pressure data, all while being at home. So the lifestyle survey will be taken at week 1 and then at week 10. We're hoping that the athletes will be willing to participate in the lifestyle survey. So let's get to the Fitness Heptathlon. Right now we have the start date of the week of November 15th, the finish date Thursday, February 25th. The Fitness Heptathlon will be 10 weeks. So within November 15th to February 25th, we must accomplish the 10 weeks. So everyone may not be on the same week at the same time, but there are due dates where you must be at your week 5 and due dates to be at week 10. Okay. We know that Christmas falls in the middle of this time period as well as Thanksgiving, and that's why we would like to be very flexible. Here's something really important, and that's why you're seeing a big blue box on the screen. The registration. Athletes, unified partners, and coaches, we would like them to sign up on the interest and participation form button on the SOPA website on the Heptathlon page. Okay. Why do we need this to happen? There is a participant e-waiver for coaches and athletes and unified partners that must be completed. So please, if you have athletes who are interested in joining, if you are interested in joining or being a unified partner, we really would like you to go to that interest and participation form and complete it. It doesn't take long. We'll be offering different events. The athletes and partners will have the choice of doing singles, traditional, or unified doubles. And as always, that's for doubles, that is 2 athletes, or it's 1 athlete and 1 unified partner. For traditional and unified teams, that will be 4 athletes or 2 athletes and 2 partners. So all participants, all coaches and volunteers, again, must be Class A volunteers, and all participants must sign a virtual waiver. You might see that a couple of times throughout the presentation. Okay. Let's talk about the exercises. So in the fitness heptathlon, the athletes and their partners will pick exercises. There are 26 different exercises to choose from. They fall under 3 categories, and those in categories are endurance, strength, and flexibility. We would like them to choose 7 exercises. So we'll be going through a list of them. They'll be able to choose 2 exercises from agility, 2 from strength, 2 from endurance, and then the 7th exercise may come from any of the 3 categories. Okay. But here's the catch. Once the 7 exercises are chosen, they must remain the same throughout the duration of the season. Okay. Athletes may not do different exercises every week. So when they do their baseline, their mid-season, and their end of the season tests and get the scores, they must all be the same 7 exercises. Things to keep in mind: athletes competing in doubles or teams. Athletes competing in doubles and teams do not have to do the same skills. Okay, so they may choose their own 7 exercises as long as they're 2 from agility, 2 from strength, 2 from endurance, and then 1 from any of the 3 categories. They do not have to be the same. But we also want you to make sure the athletes and partners are challenging themselves. We don't want them choosing the easiest. We want them choosing what they're interested in and what they would like to improve. So here are the exercises. The exercises that are marked in blue are made for athletes who have mobility issues. So you'll see that under agility, we have the 10-yard run, walk, and roll, 10, 5, 10 agility, box agility, ball tap, lane slides, one leg stance, eyes open, one leg stance, eyes closed, and the seated lateral bends. I know you might be thinking to yourself, I don't know how to do half of those. Don't worry, we've got all that material for you, and we'll go over it this evening. Under strength, we have squats, sit and stand, wall sit, planks, standing long jump, side-to-side jumps, curl-ups, chair push-ups, Roman holds. Step tests are under endurance, jumping jacks, burpee, jump rope, mountain climbers, power punches, front to back jumps, and seated jumping jacks. Again, remember the items in blue are for athletes with mobility issues. So what you'll find is that each of those exercises have its own page. The pages look like the one on your screen. This happens to be the 10-yard run, walk, and roll, which is an agility exercise. Each page will show you the supplies that are needed. They'll show you the preparation, any notes that are needed, information about the exercise and how to score it. It will show you participants in action and also have a link to the videos. Okay? And up at the top, you see they have the 2 cones with the 10 yards shown between it. Okay? We have a sheet like this for every single exercise. Now, the link to the video, we're very proud to say that the coach that you see in the video explaining the activity happens to be from our own St. Francis University. So if you are a coach from Central Pennsylvania, you will know St. Francis University very well. The location of these one-pagers, you might be asking, well, it's on the Commit to Fit website under the Heptathlon. Okay. We'll take you to that page in a little bit to show you what it looks like. But again, you'll be able to find one of these one-page exercise lists for every single exercise. Okay, let's move to scoring. So on week 1, you'll work with the athletes to select 7 exercises. And then you'll receive the instructions on how to do them. The instructions are very specific. It tells you what is correct and what is not. It will tell you how to score them. It will tell you what you can score and what you can't score. Then you will be able to get a baseline score for the 7 exercises they choose. Okay, so it may be numbers of repetition or time that has elapsed. We also made a tracker for you to use as you work with the athletes. So as you'll see, it asks for the participant's name, what event they're participating in. If it's a team or doubles, you'll have to assign an ID to them, and then you'll be able to enter the scores for the athletes under the strength, endurance, and flexibility. On week 5, we'll do a mid-season score. And again, it will be the 7 exercises. They will do them one more time. Again, number of repetition and the time elapsed. And then we're going to use something a little different. It's called the improvement scoring method. From the improvement scoring method, there is a point value based upon the percentage of improvement achieved during the first half of the season. So here's how we do it. We take the baseline from week 1, we compare it to the mid-season score from week 5. That's why it's so important to ensure that these scores are submitted in a timely fashion by the due dates. Then we take the 7 exercises, we take their scores, and we're going to convert them to a numeric score based on the percentage of improvement. These 7 scores are then added together, and we get what we call a composite score. And that's where the composite score will help with divisioning the athletes. So here's a little example for you. So on week 1, this athlete chose to do the following activities, okay? And we got their baseline. So for ball tap, their baseline was a 22. Mid-season, they improved to 24. When we checked their percentage of improvement, it was 9%. And according to our chart, a 9% improvement is 1 point. Okay. We'll go down each one of the sports. Again, we'll take their baseline, compare it to the midline, get the percentage of improvement, figure out the points that they should receive. Once we get through all of our 7 events, we'll add up our scoring, and this time we will have a composite score of 13. Okay, so again, it's their baseline compared to their mid-season. We figure out the percentage of improvement, and that's how we get the points. Okay, so we finish up that mid-season, and now we've got their composite score. We're going to use that to division. We'll division like we always do. So for the singles event, we will take the age of the participant, their gender, and their mid-season composite score to figure out their divisions. In doubles, we'll combine the 2 mid-season composite scores to get the team score for the doubles. In the team, we'll take the 4 athletes or the 2 athletes and 2 partner scores. Again, we'll combine them to make it a composite score for the team. So as you may take a look at this, you'll say, that looks kind of like how we do it for bowling. And yes, that's what we do. Okay, so we make the teams, the doubles, and the individuals all have a composite score. They will be put in division for final competition based on this composite score and the divisioning method. On week 10, again, we'll now get the final scores. You'll take that final week, you'll do the 7 exercises, you'll record the time elapsed and the number of repetitions, and once again, we will use the improvement scoring method. So we'll take the mid-season score, which was week 5, we'll compare it with week 10 or the final season score. We'll assign those numeric numbers based on the percentage of improvement, and then those 7 scores will be added together for the athlete's final score. So our athlete will now look like this. We will take the ball tap, for example. At mid-season, they had a score of 24. At the final season, they have a score of 27. We get the percentage of improvement, which is 12.5. and we'll give them 2 points according to our chart. Again, we'll continue down through all of their sports, going with their mid-season compared to their final, the percentage of improvement, and then the points. So this time the composite score or the final score is now 14. So they will use the score of 14 in their preset divisions to find their placement. Now, I don't know about you, but I am not the greatest at math and finding percentages. But your cell phone is excellent. I found this wonderful app called Percentage Increase Calculator by Calculator Soup. And all you need to do is enter your 2 scores, your mid-season or your baseline and your mid-season, or your mid-season and your final score. You just put them in and it will calculate them for you. Okay, so that's the Percentage Increase Calculator. I found it on Google and it's by a company called Calculator Soup. All right, so now that we went through the competition portion, let's talk a little bit about your job and responsibilities throughout the fitness heptathlon. Okay. So prior to the season, the one thing that we need to make sure we do is have the athletes, coaches, and unified partners complete that interest registration form. Okay, and I'll show you right where to find it on the fitness heptathlon website. All coaches participating must be a Class A volunteer. If you are a returning coach, you know where to find your VISA's profile. Make sure you're checking your protected behaviors, general orientation, concussion training, and background clearance. If you are a new volunteer, we'll be showing you where to go on the SOPA website to find your volunteer application and get yourself registered so we can take care of your Class A requirements. Make sure that your participants have a copy of the Fitness Heptathlon Weekly Training Guide, which we will be going over next, or make sure that you can work with them to see where to find it on the website. Determine the best platform to work with your athletes. Some are using FaceTime, Facebook, Zoom, they're using their phones. Whatever is your best way to work with your athletes, you'll need to decide on. During the 10 weeks in the Fitness Weekly Training Guide, please make sure that you take the time to go over the Fit 5 educational information that you will find for each session. On week 1, again, you will review the exercises with your athletes, you'll record their choices, and you will work on their baseline scoring with them, unless you are being assisted by a unified partner or a family member. And then we'll start with the Fitness Heptathlon Training Guides, week 1, training 1, week 1, and training 2. On week 2, you will collect all the baseline scores and submit to your program's competition coordinator. And week 2, training 1, and week 2, training 2 will be done. On week 3, the Fitness Heptathlon Training Guide, we're going to head into week 3, training 1, week 3, training 2. We'll do the same for week 4. Week 5, now we're going to go for the mid-season scores. So week 5, we'll do the mid-season assessment scores, and we'll work on the Fitness Heptathlon Training Guide, week 5, training 1, and week 5, training 2. Week 6, 7, 8, and 9, again, will all be that week's trainings 1 and training 2. And finally, on week 10, we'll assist with the final assessment scoring, and then you'll collect the final scores and submit them to your competition coordinator. Okay, so as you can see, we are scheduled for 2 trainings a week. We'll talk about that a little more in a couple minutes. The award ceremonies will be at the virtual Winter Games on March 5th through the 7th in 2021. All right, let's get on to those weekly training guides. So for the Fitness Heptathlon, we expect that there will be 2 trainings a week. Our goal is that training 1 will be a virtual training. It will be live streamed and recorded for those who miss it. So we have not scheduled the time and date for these live streams. We'll be doing that very shortly, but please make sure that your athletes are always up to date on when the training is, where they can find it, and if they're going to miss it, how to find it from the Facebook page. Training 2 will be the coach with their athletes. They'll train via a platform such as, again, Zoom, Facebook, FaceTime, Classroom, whatever you happen to be using to stay in touch with your athletes. But let's keep in mind on the training sessions, they should run from anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. We want the athletes to be doing their best, so push them. We want them to be tired at the end of the training season, or I'm sorry, at the end of the training session. We want them to feel like they have really worked out and worked out hard. Make sure you're reviewing the Fit 5 education portion on each training page and make the training session fun. Incorporate games or fun activities at the beginning, at the end. Let the athletes and maybe a partner or 2 athletes lead some type of game, warm-ups or cool downs activities. One of the warm-ups that you might also want to let them do is have a scavenger hunt in their house. So they're having some quick bursts of energy, running from room to room to find an object to come back and show you. Come up with something fun and enjoyable to keep the trainings fun and enjoyable for the athletes. Now, in their trainings, there's always a warm-up. Okay? So when the warm-up needs to be done before every practice. So as you go through this, you'll see that there's walking and jogging involved, arm circles, side shuffle, head to rear butt kicks, or sorry, heel to rear butt kicks, and the power skip. Now, these aren't the only exercises you can do. You can always add 1 or 2 that might be a team favorite or an athlete favorite to their warm-ups. But please make sure the athletes are warming up, getting that heart pumping. Each session has 3 different pages to the workout. This happens to be week 1, workout number 2, and you can see that it's for endurance. So it tells you to do the warm-ups from page 5, which we have already pulled out of the guide for you, and work on the endurance. Today's endurance is working on jumping jacks. You'll see the peach box on the side of the page, which is the Fit 5 educational piece that we would like you to review. So once they're done working with their jumping jacks, we'll move to page 2, which is all about strength. So today's workout is straight leg raises, and you'll see that there are written directions, step-by-step pictures, and again, another peach box for the workout. The final page of it is flexibility. Okay? Today, this one is doing calf stretches, has the pink box, it has the written information, and of course, the athlete doing the skill. So there are 3 pages to each workout featuring the endurance, the strength, and the flexibility. The final page of the workout is a cool down. Please make sure that you go through the cool down after every session. This one includes quad stretches, hamstring stretches, knee to chest stretch, and shoulder stretches. And once again, you are always welcome to add stretches at the end. Okay. When do you play your game? At the beginning, at the end, it's up to you, but have some type of activity that the athletes can have some great fun with everybody who is on the screening platform with you. Where do you find these? Again, they're on the Commit to Fit website, Fitness Heptathlon, okay, and they are under the training section. We'll be going back and showing you those in a little bit. So timeline and important dates. The Fitness Heptathlon due dates are right here. You can see Monday, December 7th. We'll need a VISUS roster from you. This is the same thing that we do for training as well as competitions. So the VISUS roster will be very important that you complete. On December 17th, we would like to have your baseline Google score sheet. On January 21st, we'll have your mid-season Google score sheet. And then on February 25th, will have your final score sheet. And then the award ceremony again will be with the virtual winter games on March 5th through the 7th. Awards will be presented by division based on composite scores. We can have the athletes and coaches and partners. Please join our Facebook group and follow our fitness blogs. And when you're taking pictures to put on your social media, please make sure you use the hashtag FitHepPA, stands for Fitness Heptathlon, Pennsylvania. All right, so before we move any further, I'm going to take you to the SOPA website. Right, once you are on the website, you can enter the commit to fit one of two ways. You can click here on the picture that scrolls across the center of your screen, or if you go to the top of the screen, more than sports, click on commit to fit, where you will receive our 4 boxes. Today we're talking fitness heptathlon. Right here is your fitness heptathlon. And here is that important box, this brown box, that is the interest and participation form. Again, we need coaches, unified partners, and athletes to all register on this form so we can take care of their e-waiver immediately. And here is your Facebook group and following our fitness blog. You can click right here and join in. Here are the exercises. And if you flip the exercise box, click right there, and here it is, right in front of you. Everything that I just showed you. We're going to take a second and we're going to watch the video. All right, so you will see that every presentation resembles that one. And again, those are students from St. Francis University on those one-page videos. I would like to show you the chair push-ups. This one is going to show you the push-ups and the information. But when you want the chair push-ups, the modification is here at the bottom. Okay.
Hey, Jen, it's Michelle. I do just want to note to everybody, Jen, we're not hearing sound on your end. So all these videos do have sound and step-by-step instructions that go along with them.
Rest and push up until your arms are fully straight, and then lower yourself back down. And that's 1.
Okay. I'm hoping that the sound has picked up now for you for some reason.
It did.
It did.
Yeah, it did at the end there, Jen. Thank you.
All right. Yes. So there is sound to all of them. So you'll hear the instructions, you'll see the instructions, and you'll see the athlete doing them. And again, every single one has the exercise and all the information that we just showed you. All right. As we scoot down, we hit the registration area. Again, here's another link to the interest participation form. Here are the workouts for the trainings. So if you click here, you will see the workout. This is week 2, workout 1. That's the endurance page, the strength page, as well as the flexibility page. The warm-up is right here. And right below it is the cool down. The rest of the exercises will be added shortly. And you can follow all the dates, the competition dates and deadlines are at the bottom. I did want to stop right here. All coaches and Unified Partners must be a Class A volunteer. When you click on this Class A volunteer, it will take you to become a volunteer. If you are not currently in our visa system, you will simply click here on how to become a volunteer. And there is a video that will walk you through the process step by step to become a volunteer and create your visas record. Right. So again, to get to this area, more than sports, commit to fit. Fitness Heptathlon. All right. So Michelle and Lauren, do you have any questions in the box? Or questions to answer?
We do have a couple in the box, Jen. And it's mostly if you want to elaborate a little bit about scoring and how they should conduct the scoring of the athletes that they are coaching.
Okay. So when you are scoring and working with the athletes, again, you're going to need to set up some type of platform to work with them on, whether it's Zoom or Facebook. You can also work with the family member who could be there to help the athlete, making sure that they are doing the score appropriate, doing the exercise appropriately, and is being counted appropriately. If the camera from the phone or from the computer can be set on the athlete, then the coach can work with the athlete, counting down, counting up, or whatever is needed for the athletes. Michelle, Lauren, do you want to chime in on there for anything other than that?
No, I think you did a good job, Jen. It's just emphasizing the fact that this is really a coach-driven program. So we definitely want to have the integrity of the scoring and things being done properly and safely. It's not just scoring and making sure it's done right for scoring, but also for the safety of the athletes.
Correct. And when you do read the instructions, for example, in jumping jacks, the jumping jack only counts if the athlete's hands come together at the top of the jump. So if they're getting tired and their hands aren't going together at the top, it's not counted. And we need to make sure that we are watching for that and making sure that the exercises are being performed properly and safely. Okay, next question, Lauren.
All right. So this next question is in regards to our adaptive options.
Yes.
So in our menu, we do have a number of activities or exercises that are available for folks with various ability levels. Regardless if they're starred or not, for those folks, anybody can actually do those. The menu options are open to everybody.
Correct.
Yes. Right.
I think
just a note on that. Yeah, just a note on that. We want to make sure that it's challenging for individuals, right? So if they're able to do actual push-ups, they should be doing those as opposed to chair push-ups, right? So we just want to make sure that the activities that are chosen are really challenging the athletes.
I think the
Absolutely.
power punches sound like fun, and I would really like to do them to work my shoulders. So I would do them standing because I can stand, but if I couldn't stand, a chair would be perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. That's also part of your guys' jobs as coaches, is to help athletes pick the most appropriate exercises for them. And if they pick a challenging one, more likely they're going to have a better improvement on their performance because they've got a bigger gap to close on that.
And the better the improvement, the better the composite score, and the better their fitness level.
Absolutely.
The
Jen, would you
next
like to
question we've,
sorry, go ahead, Michelle.
yeah, I was just going to say the next question we have in here, if you want to go back to the deadline slide, Jen. So I know, and someone did notify us earlier that it is still listed on the website as a deadline of November 9th, so we'll be sure that we get that changed. But we've significantly adjusted some of these deadlines to allow for more flexibility and to just get as many athletes and coaches kind of on board with this as possible. So our first hard deadline is a visa roster submission. And again, this is being treated just like any other sport. So you as coaches will need to get all of the information into your county's sport and competition coordinators, and then they'll be submitting stuff to SOPA. Again, just kind of the same way that every other sport works. So that first deadline that needs to come to SOPA is your visas rosters by December 7th. So the goal is that everybody gets this up and running by the beginning of December, so that, again, you can have a practice or two, you can kind of get everybody on board, you know who's going to be participating on your roster, and then you can submit those rosters. And then you'll have another week to collect all those baseline scores. So the deadline for the submission of those baseline scores is going to be December 17th. So again, we've pushed back the deadlines. If you have seen kind of the initial deadlines that we had pushed out, which we've now updated everywhere, but they were a little bit earlier than this. So again, just trying to provide as much flexibility so we have time to get people involved. There was another question that came in. If you are going to coach a group of athletes and you already know who that group of athletes is, they don't necessarily need to fill out the interest and participation form. But what we do need is we need every athlete or partner participating to either have an active medical on file or to complete the e-waiver. So, you as a coach, if you're saying, hey, I've got my group of bowlers, right? We're going to do this with my group of bowlers. Maybe 9 out of 10 of them have a current medical. So those guys are all good to go. We would just need that one individual who doesn't to complete the e-waiver. And we can send that to you via an electronic form. We'll actually get it posted up on the website too, or a PDF that you could send them, have them sign and collect it back. That would then just need to get submitted back to one of us so we could record that on our end. But if those individuals are filling out that interest and participation form, the e-waiver is a part of that. And that was one of the other questions that came in. We will start sharing the entries that have come in on there with the counties as of tomorrow. And then we'll be sharing those on a weekly basis. So the counties know, what coaches and what athletes have registered from their county at this point in time.
The way to submit some forms, if you're looking to, if you are submitting e-waivers, is to the sports training at SpecialOlympicsPA.org website. We'll make sure that is up on the Commit to Fitness Heptathlon page. Again, it's the sports training at SpecialOlympicsPA.org.
Yeah, and someone had asked, will the sport and competition coordinators be pulled into this process? Yes, we'll make sure some of that information has gone out in Gina Reed's weekly emails to this point, which I believe go to all the program leaders. But I will make sure that we put something specific together and send it to the sport and competition coordinators. And again, they'll be the ones that are getting the list of participants up to this point as well, them and the managers.
All right, any more questions?
So there was another one that just says, as a coach, will we only be coaching our sport athletes if they sign up? So that's really up to you. If some people are always open to accepting additional athletes, which is great because as we saw through some of the fall sports, we have a lot of athletes that don't necessarily have a coach within their county or that is able or willing to work with them. So it's been great, those coaches that have kind of opened their arms to accept additional individuals. So again, if that's something that you're willing to do, that was one of the questions on the interest and participation form. But if that's something that you're willing to do, great. If not, if you just want to coach your small group of athletes, even if it's just 1 or 2 athletes, that's absolutely fine as well. Kind of whatever your preference would be as a coach. Another question, can these activities be done at in-person winter training? So yes, and I just want to make sure that we don't confuse any of this. The program Fitness Heptathlon itself is at this point in time meant to be done as a virtual program. We don't, if people are not already meeting in person to get together for one of those winter sports, we want it to be done virtually just to keep everybody in the safest setting as possible. If you are running a floor hockey or an alpine or, some of those sports that we're allowing to be done in person throughout the winter season, then this can 100% be done as part of your training sessions. Take 15, 20 minutes of training session, go through just, use the warm-ups, use some of the fitness activities that are located within the trainings, get the baselines and do those recordings at practice. That is 100% allowable for those teams that are already training in person. And again, just a reminder, in order to be training in person, you need to make sure that you go through all of the return to activities protocols, filling out that site registration and advancement form, having a COVID-19 coordinator, and just, all the protocols that come along with that return to activities.
So the Fitness Heptathlon can also be done with an in-person training, so they will be able to participate in both. The Fitness Heptathlon and either the virtual training for a sport or the in-person training for a sport.
Correct. Yep. And we will talk about Fitness Heptathlon more on those winter sport coach specific calls. Want to make sure that everybody's aware of that because the good thing about Fitness Heptathlon at this point is there will be competition opportunity available. Again, it's really happening in a virtual setting. The competition will happen in a virtual setting. Whereas just given the status of the virus right now, some of those other sports, if we're trying to do alpine in person, we may not get to the point where we're able to do competitions come January, February, just again, given the status of the virus at that point in time. So very flexible, but I think if you are doing an in-person training, sport-specific training, this is a good addition to that because there is a guaranteed competition opportunity for your athletes.
Please remember, if you do have a question, we need you to type it into the question and answers.
Melody, don't worry if you had people sign up. They'll really do their final sign up on those visas rosters and on the baseline registration form. So if you had people say, I'm going to do individual or I'm going to do a pair, but now they want to do a team, you can kind of figure all those things out on that December 7th and December 17th deadline. And someone had asked earlier too, there is a coach kind of collection form. So again, as we said, it's very similar to a normal sport process. So you'll need to be collecting all the information from your team and then passing that on to your sport and competition coordinator. So that form is up and available on our website for you to access. So you can keep track of all those things and then pass the information along. Yep, there you go, Jen. In this program, so this is the one unified program where we are allowing individuals to be a coach as well as a unified partner. This is unique. Typically, it's not something that is allowable. Typically, you have to have a designated coach as part of a unified team. In this program, again, we're just allowing some flexibility there. So someone had asked, I want to compete as a unified partner with my son. Do we also need a coach? So you do not. You and your son can compete together. We would welcome you if you're already training kind of within your household. If you're able to do something virtually and maybe welcome more athletes in to be a part of that, then that's fantastic. But you are allowed to just do it kind of as a pair if that's what you would choose.
We also just need to make sure that your local program knows that you are doing the training so they can follow up with you to get your 7 exercise scores. So filling out the interest participation form for one of you would be really helpful.
And then Chloe, you're always such a great fitness advocate. We would absolutely love if you help spread the word of this to all of your fellow Lancaster athletes. And I know that you will.
Go Chloe.
Yeah, you've been rocking it with Strides, Chloe.
Yep, Chloe did an awesome job in Strides. We know she can do an awesome job for the Fitness Heptathlon.
A question, if an athlete has a current medical, do they still need to complete an interest form? Not necessarily. We would just want them to be hooked up with a coach. So as long as a coach knows that they're going to be participating, then that's fine. But it was more so for any athletes out there that weren't necessarily connected to a coach. We wanted to make sure that we had a means to be able to try to connect people together. So again, Lester, that's correct. If they have a medical, they don't necessarily need to complete other paperwork. They just need to be connected with a coach. And I'd imagine most of you are able to handle that just internally. Yeah, so Kelly, again, the one great thing about this program is it's virtual, right? It's meant to be done virtually. So even if you are doing it at one of those in-person sports-specific practices and everything does get shut down, hopefully you can pretty easily just transition to a virtual setting, getting together once or twice a week with those athletes via Zoom or, Facebook or something like that. And if you've got any questions, if anyone on the call has any questions about kind of how to conduct things virtually, we did put together some resources that can be found on the Return to Activities website, or please just feel free to reach out to any of us at any time, competition team, field team, Jen, Lauren, we're happy to help kind of connect you guys and hook you up with how to do that. We were asking the coaches to complete the interest and registration form. Again, just so we knew who was participating and we can start communicating with those coaches directly. So if you are a coach who's interested, it would be great if you could go through that process. It'll take you about 5-10 minutes. It's pretty straightforward.
And if you do have athletes that you are going to be working with, you'll be able to add them right to the list.
Yep. Awesome. So I do want to go back real quick, make sure we got everything from the beginning. So a lot of it's on deadlines.
Yeah. So please make sure you're putting your questions and answers in the Q&A box. Q&A for your questions.
Yep, so I think we've covered everything that's been addressed so far.
Okay, so.
One more coming in, hold on.
Okay.
Someone had asked about one of the weekly sessions being a live stream. So we're working on this. We have not finalized that yet, but we are working to try to get one of the training sessions per week done via a live stream. On like our Facebook page, on our YouTube page that athletes and coaches could tune into. So it's kind of one of the 2 training sessions per week is being managed that way. Again, that has not been finalized yet, but we're working hard to try to get there. Again, just as a reminder, we'll be sending out everyone who is currently signed up. We'll be sending those out on a weekly basis from here on out. To the managers and sport competition coordinators within each of the programs. And yes, I know Jen did a little walkthrough of the website, but all of these forms are available on the website. If you're on the main page of the website, if you just go to More Than Sports, there is a Commit to Fit button. And again, Commit to Fit kind of encompasses all of the offerings that we have right now. So it's the Stride Challenge, Fitness Heptathlon, at home sports-specific training, and in-person sports-specific training. So Jen had just pulled it up there, and really everything we covered on the call tonight, you can find on this website. If you have any additional questions about anything, again, please don't hesitate to reach out to one of the three of us.
Okay, so your questions are going in the Q&A. If you are interested in receiving continuing ed for your sports that you are currently certified in, please type your name into the chat. Type your first name, your last name, type yes behind it, and then your county. First name, last name, yes, and county. So that should blow up the chat box. So again, questions should be going into the Q&A box. The adjustments on the Commit to Fit page for the Fitness Heptathlon, those updated dates should be hitting the website tomorrow. Okay? And I will make sure that all of the week 5 fitness worksheets 1 and 2 or workouts 1 and 2 and that stuff will all be there by the middle of this week. We'll make it by the middle of this week. We'll make sure everything is there so you can take a very good look at it. Okay. Again, right now you're looking at the website page. It is the blue button for Fitness Heptathlon. The brown button for interest and participation. The blue buttons are for joining our Facebook group, following our fitness blogs, onto the exercises and their explanation pages, following straight down through to the training page that has the workouts listed, due dates and deadlines, which will be updated by Wednesday at the latest. So all of that information is here waiting for you to review. All right. Michelle, I see 2 questions in the Q&A. Did we answer those?
Just general thank yous. And Deb, we will add your name over here to the chat box so Jen can have record of that. But we don't have any other questions in the chat box.
Okay. Look at that. It is 7:58. We made it in just a minute under an hour. So if you have any other questions, we'll hang on and we will answer them. If not, and you signed up for the continuing education, please feel free to hang up from the call. And we're looking forward to seeing you doing Fitness Heptathlon. And remember to send your pictures to FitHep PA, FITHEP PA. Thanks, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the presentation. Have a wonderful night.